Before you add another thing to your cart, watch this. I'm sharing the 10 things I'll never buy for my home, and most designers wouldn't either. Some of these might be popular, but most people end up regretting them. I'll show you why and what I'll choose instead so your home looks good and feels good. The first thing I'll never buy, and most designers wouldn't either, is an exposed bulb light fixture. You often see them in farmhouse and industrial homes, but they don't actually work ergonomically. It's not that they look awful, but more so that they're just impractical to use as you end up lighting your eyeballs and not the room. Because it is not diffuse, they are blinding at night, harsh and cast unflattering shadows. They are especially bad over dining tables or above a bathroom vanity, with the light bulbs above glaring upon you. If you really love the look, keep it decorative, low brightness, on a dimmer, and never the main source of light in the room. I'll also put in generic lighting here as another thing I'll never buy. When I say generic, I'm talking about those things like boob light, those basic dome lights, or these kind of table and floor lamps. They tend to look cheap and dated, and lighting is one of the few things you have to buy anyway. So let it pull its weight visually. There are heaps of good affordable options, from a simple linen pendant from IKEA, an opal glass lamp, a clean semi-flush, even a plug-in pendant if you're renting. So there's no reason to keep the placeholder. You can even look for something unique in Facebook Marketplace, which is where I got this huge statement lamp for 40 Australian dollars. Here's the bigger picture. Lighting isn't just about seeing, it's about creating a feeling. It does the job of lighting a space, sure, but it also sets the mood. A room with harsh overhead lights feels flat and tiring, but a room with soft, layered lighting feels calm and expansive. So go for that diffuse fixtures and layer your lighting. If you own, plan for it early. More wall lights on dimmers. If you're renting, more floor lamps in the corners, table lamps on consoles or nightstands, and consider portable lamps if there's no access to an outlet. I know I've said this many times before, but if your bathroom needs a sign that says "Live, Love, Poop," something went wrong long before the decor. My opinion on decor is that it should be one of three things. Either it's beautiful, sentimental, or meaningful to you. Most word art does neither. It's just filler with an ugly font. And don't even get me started on the wall of Raydon mugs with words like sip or gulp. I see these so often, especially in Airbnbs and show homes, because they feel like an easy way to fill a wall. But here's my take. Instead of having words tell you how to feel, maybe fill your home with things that actually make you feel something. That could be a framing of a beautiful family photo, or finding original artworks from your travels that hold memories. I personally love unconventional art made from interesting materials, and I've been collecting pieces from my trips for years. If you're on a budget, go to a local flea market or thrift shop and hunt for a unique piece of art that speaks to you. Something with a real history and meaning will always be more valuable and stylish than a mass-produced word. I can also recommend original art, as it will create an emotional connection and make your home truly unique. And you're also supporting a creator's talent, which is a major plus. You can even reach out to an artist who you know is in your price range and ask if they'll make a custom piece for you. And beyond art, it's the surfaces that usually trip people up. Shelves, consoles, coffee tables. They're tempting to fill with objects, but buying filler accessories like the infamous anal beads isn't the answer. All it does is add visual clutter without adding meaning, and a waste of money. What I'll do instead is focus on pieces that have emotional value or tell a story. Again, that could be a souvenir from a trip, or a gift from a loved one, or items you genuinely love. These things will make your home feel personal and remind you of something every time you see them. Otherwise, I also like functional decor. For example, a marble bookend that doubles as sculpture, or a unique bowl in your entryway that actually helps organize your everyday carry. Leave some negative space so the good stuff can breathe. You don't have to cover every inch. Blank areas make the intentional pieces stand out. And if you don't have much to display, just embrace it. Consider more closed storage instead of getting two open giant bookcases which you'll feel pressure to decorate and then sprint to Hobby Lobby or Home Goods to fill. I rarely buy ready-made window furnishings straight off the shelf, at least not without tweaking them. They're the default for most people, But the standard sizes in big box stores almost never fit real rooms, so you end up with curtains that are either too short, too long, or stretch out because they're too narrow. Ready-made curtains tend to be around 84 inches, 96 inches, and sometimes 108 inches. But your windows, ceiling height, and rod placement are rarely that exact number. If you're going off the shelf, buy longer and trim the length. So if you've got an 8-foot ceiling and your rod is 6 inches below the ceiling, your floor to rod distance is about 89 inches. Skip the 84-inch and get the 96-inch and hem them to a kiss at the floor or a light puddle. You can always shorten fabric, but you can't make it longer. Width matters just as much. Aim for roughly 2 to 2.5 times the window width in fabric when closed so the curtains read full, not stretch flat. For example, if you buy the Sonella curtains from IKEA, they are 55 inches when stretched flat. And if your window width is about 55 inches, you need to get 2 of them to get that ripple fold. And if your window width is say 120 inches, you'll ideally need 4 of them, 2 on each side. Otherwise, I always prefer to have my window furnishings custom made, as they make a very big difference to any space. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive. There are affordable custom sources like 2 pages where you can choose the drop, width, heading, and material so it actually fits your room. I'll link them down below for you to check out. You can also check out my video on Beginner's Guide to Choosing Window Treatments, where I cover all the different types and applications. I would never buy large furniture without a plan, even if they're on sale. I've seen it way too often where people buy big pieces impulsively, without knowing if they'll fit right in their space. I've made this mistake myself ages ago when I moved to my first adult apartment. I grabbed a $49 TV unit without measuring. It technically fit, but the height was off, so watching from the sofa felt awkward, and it reminded me of that mistake every time I sat down. Now, I always start with a simple floor plan. Measure the room, walls, windows, door swings, and decide where the big pieces will live. Then, give about 24 to 36 inches of walkway between big furniture pieces, and set an ideal size range for each big piece like a sofa, bed, dining table, desk, and shop within it. Anything outside that size range, even if it is beautiful or on sale, is an instant no. I have a free in-depth guide to laying out your room which covers the step-by-step process to help you maximize your space. If you're unsure, use painter's tape to mark the footprint on the floor. This allows you to walk around it and get a feel of how it will work. Recliners are known for comfort, but most are just plain ugly. They take up so much space in the living room, and they typically involve bad fabrics and awkward, lumpy curves. But that is the version we're used to seeing. The plot twist is there are genuinely beautiful recliner chairs and sofas on the market. You just have to choose carefully. I prefer one with the refined design that resembles a normal armchair or sofa, which helps them sit quietly in the room instead of sticking out like a guest in a red gown at a wedding. I particularly like this one from Castlery, the Jaren leather recliner sofa. It is a super stylish option that looks like a sleek contemporary sofa, but still offers the comfort of a recliner. I've linked them down below in the description box if you want to check it out. I also get that sometimes a recliner is needed for health reasons. In that case, prioritize proper support, a smooth motion, and easy clean upholstery that doesn't look shiny or plasticky, which I find is the case in a lot of big box recliners. Recliners tend to be much more expensive, for obvious reasons. So before you buy, consider if it is manual versus power, check whether just the footrest lifts or the back reclines too, and make sure you have enough room for the fully extended position. Read reviews and warranty details, as the motors can fail. And if you float the chairs, check the back view, as many recliners aren't designed to be viewed from behind. We recently did a custom leather recliner sofa for a client's entertainment room. Low back with a pop-up headrest, sleek design with legs, it is extremely comfortable and just looks like a very nice sofa. It doesn't swallow the room, nor does it feel bulky. A reclining sofa isn't for everyone, but if you need them in your home, there are far more good-looking options than you think. You're not stuck with those bulky, curvy eyesores. Furniture legs may seem like a super insignificant detail, but there's so many ways it can annoy you. If the legs are so tiny and you can't get a vacuum under there, it becomes a dust trap. I personally prefer something with legs and clearance, or something that just goes all the way to the floor. The other day, I saw a Pinterest post with slat-based chairs like this and a dining table with a cube-shaped slat brace. At a glance, it looked fine. But then I stopped and thought, how are you going to slide in the chair? I'm also not a big fan of hairpin legs, which at one point was an overdone feature. They can work in quality builds, but mass-market versions are often wobbly. Faux pieces can be a good budget buy, but only when it is subtle. The problem is that there's too many of them that try too hard to imitate the real thing, like porcelain dining tables with bold marble veining or vinyl flooring with heavy wood grains. It's so obvious it's fake, the same way a knockoff designer shirt with a giant logo gives itself away. I do have a few faux things myself, but it is subtle and doesn't scream in your face. For faux ceramics, I prefer matte pieces as they look more believable over glossy ones. I'll personally avoid faux marble as they rarely look convincing. And when it comes to faux wood furniture, last grain usually looks better, and a raw look is better than a glossy high sheen. Similarly with faux plants, I always find one with branches and natural movement and make sure it actually looks like the real plant. That said, I still prefer real materials on a budget. Thrift for vintage pieces or buy a handmade ceramic, even an inexpensive one, and you'll get texture and weight that mass-produced faux can't replicate. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but please step away from the furniture set. Let me show you why. Look at this room. Everything from one set. Same legs, same height, same finish. Now this room, where they've mixed and matched different pieces. It's instantly more interesting, right? Yes, it is harder to pull off, but here's a trick that helps. Start with one anchor you love. Could be a sofa, a rug, or a painting. Build around it and keep it cohesive by repeating a material and/or color 3 times. Walnut can show up on the dining table and a frame, linen on the sofa and a lampshade, black metal in a lamp and a side table base. That is all it takes to feel intentional without looking matchy-matchy. I have a video on how to make your home look cohesive, so check that out if you haven't already. I'm personally not a fan of glass dining tables. They're loud, dust and fingerprints show up very easily, and when you sit, you'll awkwardly see people's legs through it. Of course, you can use coasters and table mats. And yes, they do work in certain situations, especially in small and dark rooms where glass can feel lighter and airier. So if you love it, then please go for it. Don't let anyone's opinion stop you. But with so many dining table options in various different materials, I prefer something with texture and warmth, especially when so many homes today skew a bit sterile, with mass-produced finishes, white walls, and boxy layouts. Wire and flimsy plastic hangers are one of those false economy purchases that almost everyone regrets. You can buy a pack of 50 for the price of a couple of sturdy ones. But in reality, they create more problems than they solve. Your clothes slip off constantly. The thin design creates creases in delicate fabrics, and you try to hang something heavy, like a coat or blazer, it will lose its shape. Over time, you end up ruining your clothes, so the savings don't add up. These days, I stick to 2 reliable alternatives: wooden hangers and velvet hangers. Thick wooden hangers give structure. I use them for coats, blazers, and anything tailored so the shoulders keep their shape. Regular wooden hangers are more affordable and great for everyday button shirts. Velvet hangers are slim and grippy, great for blouses, silk, and I also like them for pants. For trousers and skirts, you can also use clip hangers so you're not creasing them over a bar. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video on 8 home design choices that scream outdated, and this video on the 30 affordable IKEA products that look expensive. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.